Hello everyone, my name is Shivani Tyagi, your philosophy and ethics teacher. So today we are going to discuss more about Quine and Strawson's empiricism. Why did they criticize empiricism? So in the last class we learned what empiricism means and who are the empiricists, what theory they had. So we were discussing how Quine had problem with analytic and synthetic philosophy and what these two words mean and how he said that there is no distinction between these two, right? And also he said something about web of belief, his theory, right? So these things we have discussed. Now let's understand. Now we are aware what empiricism is. We are aware that figures of empiricism, right? So John Locke, Berkeley, David Hume, all these were empiricists who believed that if you can see certain things, then they are existing. Otherwise, they are not existing, right? So they came with different philosophies regarding empiricism, right? And they gave different reasons to it. That God is a perceiver, right? God is the one who is perceiving when object is not there. So these were the philosophies that these philosophers like Berkeley, Hume gave, right? Then problems within empiricism. We learned about Quine problem of empiricism. He tried to explain that sense data with abstract concept is something that has not been like explained well. Then problem with induction. Then line between analytical and synthetic is that has been not distinguished do it like properly, right? There is some gap between that line. Then status of metaphysics was questioned. All metaphysics questions like what life is, right? About reality, about world. So these questions which cannot be proved by empiricism, those were the questions that were were like asked again and again, and they were the questions that were repeated. Now we understood Quine and his background, then understood his two dogmas analytical and synthetic, right? Analytically is something that is like true by definition, synthetic is that is true by observation or experience, right? This is the meaning, sorry, right? So this is the meaning that we have understood. Reductionism, right? All statements to sense data, if you can see it, if you can touch it, that is reductionism. If you are seeing something, if there is a statement coming towards you, break it down, right? With that breaking it down, you'll understand that if it can be like when to sense data or not. If it is not going there, then that statement is wrong according to these philosophers. Then both are attainable and rest on shaky foundations. So both of these were rejected by Quine, right? So because their sole purpose is to reject empiricism, so these two, analytical and synthetic reductionism, is something that has been criticized by these philosophers. Now we know that why did they criticize and how he came with web of belief. Like in the last class I explained it to you that suppose this is a web, right? And in this web, in this center, you'll have beliefs which are basically focusing on logic, and this is the edge of the web. This edge is basically focusing on the basically observation, on empiricism, which could be changed. If you are adding new information, if you are adding new thing into it, then it can be changed. So this is something which is like edge of the web, right? This cannot be changed. These are based on logic, these are based on facts, and this cannot be changed. So this center part of web is called logic, right? And this is belief are more holistic web, right? And they are central versus peripheral, center, and this is peripheral, right? And then this impact the whole system. He says that you cannot distinguish between synthetic and analytic. You cannot make a partition between these two. Why we cannot do that? Because there is a web of belief, there is a whole web of belief, right? Whole web of truth. So this is what we have to understand, that at the center of it we have logic, we have reasoning, all the parts, all the statements, all the language, all the reality, all the truth, which cannot be doubted at any sense. But on the edge of it, we have truth. We have basically those values, those belief, which can be like influenced. If we are adding new logic, if we are adding new knowledge to it, then it can be influenced. The meaning of that particular statement, that particular analysis can be changed. So this is the web of belief according to Quine. Now, intermediacy of translation, no unique correct translation between languages. So according to them, there is no unique correct translation. Multiple schemes can align with data equally, right? So according to them, a dog, for example, if we take example of this, then dog can mean something, a whole animal, right? And it also can mean something part of dog, right? So this is what they are trying to say, that you cannot assume meaning just by reading it. There are different meanings of that particular sentence, of that particular word, and this is what we have to understand, that this is like web of belief, right? then undermines fixed meanings and references. So you cannot come with a logic that there are some fixed meanings of a word, of a sentence. There are different meanings. That depends from person to person. It varies according to that. This is what they were saying over here. Then inscrutability of references. So reference assignment undermines by evidences, multiple mappings possible for same data. As I explained you with the example of dog, like there can be multiple meanings and it could vary, right? So this is why we have to understand that reference assignment undermined by evidence, right? If I'm saying the cat is on the mat, right? So it says that this cat we are talking, this mat we are talking, right? They can be like they have like different meanings of it. Now cat could be name of toy also and of animal also, right? So this is what they are saying, that there are different meanings of particular things. So we have to understand, the alignment should be in our understanding, right? Next, so when we talk about naturalized epistemology, so epistemology asks kinds of questions like how life is forming, right? What world is like. So basically, he criticized epistemology. He says that philosophy should not ask these absurd questions. Instead, they should ask like on what basis, what beliefs are forming by like people, why they are coming to this conclusion, why they are forming this such beliefs. So these are the types of questions that philosophy should ask. So basically, he is trying to understand and he's trying to basically verify what philosophy should do and should not do. So he says job of philosophy is to understand the reality, the belief, why humans are believing certain things. And epistemology questions, it questions why we are having these beliefs, right? But it's not understanding the core reason behind it, and this is why he is focusing. Then the core reason should be something it should be analyzed with. Now criticism of Quine. So Quine, he was criticized by Davidson. He says that principle of charity. Basically, he is not clearing up epistemology, which is like basic, which is requirement of human understanding of human living, right? You are criticizing that, and this is something that has been criticized by Davidson. So this with this critique he come that you cannot criticize epistemology on basis of that. Beliefs varies from person to person, and you cannot analyze that fully. Then mental structure contains interpretations. Fodor says that you cannot come with a web of belief, right? There are some mental structure, there is some understanding between people, and with that understanding, we try to understand how the information is forming. Then critics cannot handle normative justification. What justification he gave about normative was something that was seen as absurd by this philosopher. So his theory was not clear between normative. His distinction between analytic and synthetic was not clear much. And on the basis of this, and another critique that he faced was about the differences of languages also, right? About the toughness of language. People were not able to understand what he was trying to say. And why did he come with web of belief? With web of belief, like there was like differences of people. People had different belief, right? So this was the criticism that Quine faced. Now let's understand Strawson. Strawson, he was 1990 to 2006 he was present, and he was a British philosopher, ordinary language philosophy. His focus was on this part, and metaphysics, language, descriptive analysis. These were the philosophies that he was coming up with. Whoever philosophers are coming with language, make sure that you are combining them together, because especially when it comes to Wittgenstein, Quine, Russell, right? They have some common features. Not all of them, but there are some common features. So again, I'm telling you, do not forget to make that table that I told you in my first class. There should be one table where you're writing all the philosophers all together, and then you are merging their philosophies, trying to understand, trying to find what is common between them. Once you'll do that, you won't feel, this problem where you are actually not understanding the philosophy, and sometimes philosophies merge all together and it creates confusion, right? So make sure that you are not doing that. 9. Strawson on referring critiques Russell's theory of description. He says that Russell, who came with theory of description, by describing certain things we can come to a conclusion, right? So sentences involve presuppositions. There is something which has been like decided before that language only, right? True or false distinction is inadequate. You cannot tell, you cannot say if something is true or false. This is what Russell's theory did, right? They actually gave a statement that whatever, like for example, the cat is on the mat. If you're coming with example, then it could be broken down. You can describe it right, with experience and other factors. Now by describing it, if you can break it down and analyze it, right, you can say it true or false. But Strawson says that there is more to it. You have to understand that this philosophy is not only about truth and falsity. There is more than this is required, right? Now next is referring versus predicating. Now when we talk about referring, we know that when we're referring something, names, expressions, these speak out objects. Predicating is ascribe properties that are known before, right? So analytical synthetic split oversimplifies. So he says that referring and predicating, these two things should not be like differentiated, right? For example, if you are taking the cat is on the mat. Now there are high possibilities that some person named his or her daughter, right, after an animal, right? So we imagine this, that this cat is an animal, right? But there are high chances, especially in 2025 where we actually coming with nouns and pronouns. So there are like high chances that this cat has been named after animal, right? This person has been named after animal. There are high chances with that, right? So assuming this, referring is something that we should understand, and basically goes with same predicating also. And he also says that analytical synthetics split oversimplifies, right? This split is oversimplifies. You have to understand that these cannot be split. There is more to it. And this is what he's saying, that we have to understand it with the language, with more simplification ways. I'll be coming up with another part of it and we'll try to finish Strawson in the next class. I hope that you like it. Thank you.